right, I hereby call to order the special council meeting on Wednesday, August 20th for purpose of interviewing candidates for, in this case, the Public Works, Environment, and Transportation Commission. The roll call is that all council members are present. And we also have our chair of the Public Works, Environment, and Transportation Commission, Brian Fisek. And he is here to help with the interview process with these two candidates. We have our first candidate with us, Katie, and we'll explain the process and then we'll dive right in if you're ready to go.
Yep, go for it.
All right. Well, we have a series of questions, which I think you've had a chance to know what they are ahead of time.
Yeah.
And, we'll go through those and we'll kind of rotate that around. Well, I guess we have two candidates to interview, so it'll be a small rotation, but we'll get a chance for everybody to ask a question.
Sure.
And then if there's anything after that you want to especially highlight about your qualifications or what you bring to the commission, we'll have a chance for that, or if you have any questions for us as well.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, with that, then why don't we go ahead and start the questions with Councilmember Schroeder.
Well, thank you for coming in and looking forward to hearing your answers. And I'm going to start with, how do your experiences and skills relate to serving on a city commission?
Yeah, well, hi everyone, I'm Katie Brokapalale, and I just want to kind of do a little formal introduction. We officially moved to Roseville last year and bought a house, and I'm a third generation Roseville resident in my family. My skills that I bring forward to this role and this team really have to do with the skills I've built up in my career in cross-functional collaboration. So I work in marketing strategy at Ecolab in St. Paul, and I've actually celebrating my 10-year anniversary there next week. So I've been there for quite a few years and had a couple of career changes there actually, and used to work in human resources, now work in marketing. And in my role of bringing products to life or developing a sales strategy that's external facing, right? We're trying to sell. You have to be very aware of what's happening around you and how the actions that you're taking will impact other people, and get their feedback along the way, right? Doing something that provides a service, a product, anything for someone else that they're not excited about or wanting is going to be really hard, right? So getting the feedback, working across really diverse teams that have very different perspectives at times, is something that I think would be really helpful in this specific commission.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Strong.
Sure. Can you explain your understanding of the scope or duty of this particular commission that you've applied for?
Yeah, so my understanding, right, as someone who hasn't been on the commission before, but I have reviewed the minutes from past meetings and just trying to understand a little bit about the work, is very hands-on, very collaborative, looking out for the best interests of the residents of Roseville, and coming down to the environment, transportation, safety, how we're all working together, right? I saw the recycling carts that I received, and my old one did not get picked up for a while. Those are things, right, that they affect the everyday lives of the residents, and I see the commission and my hopeful role on the commission really being a vessel to get those things done that are the best interest of the residents of the city. I obviously have more questions. I'm curious about some of the day-to-day, I guess, actions that the commission takes or how engaged they are together, what that meeting format looks like. I heard something out in the hallway about sometimes going on field trips to different places to better understand what's happening in the city. But yeah, I understand it's very integrated and at times can be probably divisive with the community, right? People have feedback and not everyone has the same opinion.
Great, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Powell.
Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight as well. What motivates you to be part of this volunteer commission?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we moved to Roseville last year, but I grew up going to everything in Roseville. My daycare as a child was on Hamlin Avenue. This is where I've spent the majority of my life and where I call home for the last 30 plus years. When we moved in last year, the area that we live in is just off of Snelling, on the other side of Snelling from Pizza Luce, and I love the community that we live in. We're in a single family home, but Down the street are townhouses, and across the street is senior residences, and then down the street from that are a smattering of apartment buildings. And we have such a mixed, diverse community of individuals, and you see it in the park, right? I mean, people that are from all different walks of life. Senior citizens walking their dogs, we have new kids that are playing in the playground all the time. But one thing that has kind of startled me at times is the lack of pedestrian access ways that I've seen for especially those trying to cross Snelling Avenue from the apartment complexes to go to their places of work. And you can tell it is because they're wearing their work uniforms, right? Like I see it and I'm like, oh my gosh, something really catastrophic could happen very easily because of this. And where I work at Ecolab, safety is like our number one priority. And so I'm always a little triggered, but I can't really complain about something unless I'm willing to do something about it. And so that's what's motivated me when I saw this come up. I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to get involved and take some action on that might not necessarily benefit me, but benefit the community that I live in and some of the problems that I see.
Councilmember Groff.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
This is the easy question we always
Okay.
have. What do you love most about living in Roseville?
Yeah, well, honestly, I think part of my answer, I already kind of gave away the answer, but like I love the diversity. It's really important to me. When we were looking for the community that we wanted to actually purchase a home in after decades of renting in various communities. I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in Omaha, I've lived in Minneapolis, I've lived in St. Paul, right? Like all over. And I really appreciate the city, the close-knit city feel of Roseville, but simultaneously making it accessible to everyone. You don't have to be someone that can afford a $400,000 plus house to live in this neighborhood. There's apartments down the street from me that are well-maintained, easy to get into. But I think with that, love the mixed use of the property that we have, right? Great parks, retail's right there, there's housing right, it's so accessible. So that's something that's really important to me. And why we chose to buy here, to be honest.
Thank you.
And to carry on the legacy. Important, I couldn't be the one to like drop it.
Chair, if you say.
All right, so yes, I am the chair of the commission, so, if there's other questions, we can get into those later.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
still going to push the fun moniker. This is the fun commission. We do take field trips, and those things. But my question is not the fun stuff. There are times where we get into more, I'll call it vigorous discussions with opposing opinions and strong feelings from the public. And so the question is, how would you expect to deal in those situations?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that I've already been in this scenario before. So I previously owned a condo in downtown St. Paul, and I volunteered to be on a task force to help transform a parcel of property that was donated to the city of St. Paul that was intended for a use to be a park. And that was in the early 2000s. And the park is scheduled to finally open around Labor Day this year. So this was in 2021 into 2022. There was a lot of legwork done at the ground level, the grassroots level, to make sure that what we're doing reflects the wants and needs of the residents, including like doing community surveys, right? I lived in a condo, and so I made myself available to the other residents of the condo building, doing surveys, doing interviews, going to public-facing meetings, hearing the pros and the cons and people's fears, about if we make more green space, where we have more problems with homeless individuals or unhoused individuals coming over from the light rail stop, because post-COVID, it was just a really big problem in downtown St. Paul. And so in those moments when it's just, people are very strongly opinionated. We're not afraid to tell you how they feel because it's their home too. You don't take it personally. You listen. You try to meet somewhere in the middle to make sure that we're finding something that makes sense for everyone, but always thinking about the broader population as a whole, right? Like, we can't make decisions based on one or two people. It has to be something that's going to benefit the city, especially when there's such a large, that was a multi-million-dollar investment. It has to be something that we're planning for the future, not just what's in front of us today. So, I guess really kind of like to can it up, like not taking it personally, understanding that it's a part of the role and like that's just part of being public facing. And that's something I'm comfortable with in my role, in my like day job too. Sometimes people say things that you're like, whoa. Okay, not how maybe I would have phrased it, or like, you're being recorded, this is televised, right? Like, but handling it with grace and kind of moving forward. And sometimes you do have to have the check-in too, right? With the other people you're working with. It's like, am I on track? Like, is this going well? Is there something that I could have done differently? And asking for the feedback too.
All right. That is the 5 questions.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to know or had questions about for us, or anything you want to emphasize in particular in support of your service on the commission?
Yeah, I think things I want to make sure that you walk away knowing is that I'm really excited about this opportunity. I think this would be a really nice way for me to get plugged into the community more. I've been kind of itching for something. I did a couple of years of national public service with AmeriCorps when I was out of college. Service is really important to me. Like I stepped away from starting my like official career to do that, and I feel like this is a really unique opportunity to actually make a difference in my own backyard. I think the other thing I want to make sure you know is that I'm highly collaborative. You don't last 10 years at one company if people don't like having you around. And I would say that the traits that people would describe about me are being a leader, being curious, and being a good listener. So, yeah, and I have a million questions that I could ask, Brian, about like commission and, the roses, like the petal, what they call the petals and the thorns, right? Things that have surprised you, but I know you have another candidate too, so I don't want to take up too much time.
And Brian has already said that he's willing to give you unlimited amounts of his time away from here to answer those questions. So you can hold him to that.
Okay, sounds good. I will.
Well, thank you for your interest in serving and for applying for this commission and being here this evening and subjecting yourself to this grueling process. We actually are scheduled to make our decision at our next council meeting, which is Monday evening.
Okay,
so,
great.
You'll hear pretty quickly from Rachel as to whether you've been the choice or not of the council. And regardless of how that may go, we certainly encourage you to follow through on that interest in serving in whatever ways that you can in the city. And Rachel is exactly the resource person to plug in that regard.
Perfect.
And we never discourage somebody who is on a commission from doing tons of other volunteer work too. There's no requirement to only do one thing. So
Great.
we definitely
All the volunteer.
We definitely want to take advantage of people's interests, and I think each year we get a report on the volunteering in our community, and it just makes a huge difference to the work that we as a city do on behalf of our residents. And so we love folks like you that want to do that. And we'll do whatever we can to encourage and keep you engaged.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Including letting you go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh, well, I get to go pull some weeds, so you sure you don't want to keep me longer? My husband was mowing the yard when I left.
That gives me the chance to use my Tom Petty line. He says that the weeding is the hardest part.
Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
You as well.
You applied with us before.
I have, yes. It's been a couple years, I think, but I'm not going to stay up.
Pretty much the same process. So,
Nice.
We'll do a round of questions, and they're the questions that we provide to everybody ahead of time, and we'll go ahead and then after that and give you an opportunity if there's anything that we haven't covered that you feel is important to emphasize in support of your service on the commission. You'll have a chance to mention that, or if you do have questions for us, there'll be a chance for that as well after the round of questions.
Great.
All right, and so we'll go ahead and start with the questions with our chair, Brian Fisek, to begin this round.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you coming in. And first one we'll start off with is just how do your experience and skills relate to serving on this commission?
Sure. Well, I am a licensed civil engineer in the state of Minnesota. I just got my PE license in April, actually. I have a couple of couple of years of experience as a structural engineer. I've worked for some major civil engineering firms here in the cities. So I've been out in the field analyzing structures, looking at a lot of parking garages and other civil structures. I work for a bridge engineering firm now, so I've been working on analyzing new and existing bridge structures around the state of Minnesota and also in Wisconsin and some other states as needed, I guess. I would say that civil engineering experience, my education, I guess, in civil engineering has really led me to want to pursue this position, being on a commission, serving on the Planning and Environment and Transportation Commission, just because I have that educational background, I guess, in civil engineering. I've taken a lot of courses in traffic engineering, civil, I guess, structural engineering, environmental engineering, those types of things. So I kind of just have a passion for that and feel like my career could really propel me to serve here.
Councilmember Groff.
Hi, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Can you explain your understanding of the scope of, or duty of the commission you applied for?
Yeah, I would say my understanding of the scope of the duties are to serve as a volunteer, just using my my professional knowledge to help answer questions as needed and kind of drive discussions on the commission positively and kind of mediate those discussions and kind of point the council towards making decisions, not really to direct the decisions, but to just kind of answer questions, kind of provide my professional insight as to what I think would be a good decision to make, reviewing whatever plans or things are submitted to the council for planning and transportation and public works throughout the city of Roseville, and just kind of serving as a volunteer as needed and providing insight.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Bauer.
Thank you for being tonight. I think you kind of alluded to this, but I'll just ask it directly. What motivates you to be part of this volunteer commission?
I would say firstly, I'm a resident of Roseville. I have a stake in how things function in our city. I drive on the roads, I bike on the paths, I see people out and about using things in the community. I have kind of that professional eyesight when I look at things and I see maybe how things are not working and failing and see how things are working and serving the community. So I would say that, number one, just having a stake in how things function here. Could you repeat the question again?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Just the motivations for being on this commission.
Yeah, having a servant attitude also. I would just say how I grew up in the cities, just seeing how things function around here, seeing the positive impacts of people volunteering and putting their foot forward in a positive light. That's really how things get done. I see myself as kind of striving to be a catalyst for positive change in my community, not only in Roseville, but the state of Minnesota and our country. I think that we have a duty to serve and kind of step forward in a positive light and drive change. And I see myself as being part of that. I'm kind of willing to do what it takes to get that done.
Thank you.
Councilmember Stewart.
You don't want one?
No.
You can have- Okay. Well, I get the easy one. What do you love most about living in Roseville?
I would say the number one thing for me living in Roseville is the proximity to both St. Paul and Minneapolis, kind of just smack in the middle. We have borders on both of those cities. I appreciate being able to get to these major, I guess, economic and commercial and cultural hubs of our state. I enjoy that I can get on a highway in either direction and be in downtown in 10, 15 minutes. I enjoy the fact that we're in the middle of that. We get so many people that are in and out of our community every day, not just the residents of the people that live here, but visitors too. I think they have a stake in what goes on, obviously, in our city as well. So I would say that's it. I enjoy where we are located. I think that is kind of like the major factor of what makes Roseville great.
He also lives across the street from Noel Bakken,
I
so
do.
he gets that advantage too.
I do. Yeah.
Councilmember Schroeder.
sometimes the commission must make a recommendation on a matter that has a lot of strong feelings from the public, perhaps from opposing perspectives. How would you expect to deal with such situations while serving on the commission?
Sure. I think, I guess, in terms of engineering, when you're trying to calculate the center of mass or the center of gravity of an object, you kind of take all of those different points and their weight times how far they are from the center, and that kind of tells you where the center is. So all of that said is
A true
Robin
engineer.
and math.
This is the best one.
Yeah.
Robin
Yeah.
with math.
True engineer.
yes.
Speaking of the mayor.
Also, if you would think just like a weighted average, like taking, you add up all of the things, divide by how many things you added up gives you the average. But you need to include the weight of those things also when you take the center of mass, I guess you find the weighted average. So all of that said, I think it's important to listen to all of the inputs that you're getting. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has knowledge and their own lived experience. I think it's important to examine all of the evidence, listen to everyone effectively, and then make a decision based off of that, based off of the weight of what people are saying, how strongly they may feel about something can give us clues as to, why they feel that way. Their education and knowledge experience also needs to be taken into consideration. I think it is just crucially important to listen, give everyone an equal chance to say what they have to say before you try to make judgments or make assessments.
Thank you.
All right, well, those are the questions.
Sure.
Was there anything you wanted to make sure you leave us with in support of your service, or any questions you have for us?
I don't know. I think I tend to be a pretty level-headed person, tend to be friendly and just kind of agreeable. I want to point things in the right directions and just mediate conversations. I think I'm a young engineer, obviously, in the cities. I just try to put my best foot forward and serve where I can. That's about it. Thank you for taking the time to interview people, and I hope you make a good decision.
Well, it's a crucial part of the process, because we do learn a lot about people in this interview process that we can't learn from the paper application or the electronic application. So we really do appreciate when people are willing and able to come and be a part of that interview process. I always have to say, we have 2 candidates for 1 opening, so we have to make that tough choice, and that's why they pay us the big bucks. But I want to make sure that with your willingness and interest in serving, that whether or not you're appointed to the commission in this particular opportunity, that you find those ways that you can connect with serving in the community, if, either in addition to that or instead of that or beyond that. And of course, we do have another round of vacancies that come up in the spring, and so keep trying if this isn't the opportunity that works for you here.
Sure.
But thank you again for being here this evening. We wish you the best of luck. We'll make our decision actually this coming Monday, so you're here pretty soon.
Sure.
And the vacancies in our spring are usually bigger. This is just the fill-in one, because we do our major one in the spring. So.
Exactly. There'll be terms ending in several commissions at that point, so that's where there's even more opportunities. As a engineer, the odds probably are better because of the numbers. But anyway, thank you again, and we wish you the best of luck, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. All right, and just before we adjourn, I did want to note from a process point of view, because there are only 2 candidates for 1 seat on the commission, we don't have to do our tabulation and get our information into Rachel before Monday.
Oh, okay.
Although I think we would appreciate as a council to hear from the chair, your perspective. So if you can get that to Rachel in the next day or so here, so we can get that out to the council. That's probably the most important role that you can fill in this process. And with that, there being no more business before the city council, is there a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Groff, seconded by Councilmember Strawn.
Sure.
All right, no discussion on a motion to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously, and we are adjourned, everyone. Thank you.
Yes.